Hello everyone, in this video we will learn about outbreeding devices and pollen pistil interaction. So in majority of flowering plants produce the hermaphrodite flowers and pollen grains are likely to come in contact with the stigma of the same flower. That means in most of the flower they are hermaphrodite, that means they are producing both male and female part, and pollen grain are likely to come in contact with stigma reason they are in the same flower and they are close to each other. Now, continued self-pollination result in the inbreeding depression. That means if any flower is doing the continuously self-pollination, in that case, it will result in the inbreeding depression. That means after some time, the quality of the breeding it will decrease. That means the plant will not produce the good quality of seed, or either they are not getting any type of changes or any type of variation in them. Now, flowering plants have developed many devices to discourage self-pollination and to encourage cross-pollination. Now, how these species are encouraging the cross-pollination? So, in some species, what happen? The pollen release and the stigma receptivity, it is not synchronized. That means, if pollen grains are released, at that time stigma is not able to receive the pollen grains. That means it is not mature, or either it is not able to receive the pollen grains. Now, either the pollen are released before the stigma become receptive, or the stigma become receptive much before the release of the pollen grain. That means in some species, either the pollen grains are mature very early or the stigma is mature very early. In both the cases, they are not able to receive the pollen grains. Now, in some species, the anther stigma plays on the position so that the pollen cannot come in contact with the stigma of the flower. That means, in these type of flower, the position of the stigma and anther is there like that the pollen grain will not reach to the stigma. Now, in both these devices, the autogamy is prevented. The third device is the self-incompatibility. This is a genetic mechanism, and in this, the pollen grain which is produced on the same flower or the other flower of the same plant, they are not able to fertilize the ovule, and it is done by inhibiting the pollen grain germination or the pollen tube growth in the pistil. That means they are preventing the pollen germination, or they are preventing the pollen tube growth in the pistil. In both the cases, the pollen is not able to fertilize the ovule. Now, another device to prevent self-pollination is for the production of unisexual flower. That means if flower is containing either the male or female part, in that case it is unisexual, and this is another outbreeding devices. Now, suppose if both the male and female flower are present on the same plant, such as the castor and maize, then it prevent only the autogamy but not the gnetogamy. That means if the flower is unisexual, in that case it is not able to self-pollinate. That means autogamy is not occur. But if the plant is monoecious, that means male and female flower are present on the same plant, in that case it will not prevent the gnetogamy. In several other species, what happens, like papaya, the male and female flower are present on the different plant. That means either one plant will be male and second will be female. In that case, it is preventing both autogamy as well as gnetogamy. So this is the best method to prevent the self-fertilization. Now, pollen pistil interaction. So whenever the pollination occur, it is not giving any type of guarantee that only the right type of pollen will land on the stigma. Maybe the wrong type of pollen will land on the stigma, or either the self-incompatible pollen will enter on the stigma. In both the cases, it is not germinating on the stigma. So the pistil is having a ability to recognize the right pollen, and it will allow it to germinate or not. That means if the pollen is compatible, in that case it will germinate, or if it is incompatible, in that case it will not germinate. So whenever the pollen is accepted by the pistil, in that case the pistil will promote the post fertilization event for the fertilization. Now if the wrong pollen is landed on the stigma, in that case the pistil will reject it. Now how it will rejecting? So it will preventing the pollen germination first. That means the pollen grain will not allow to germinate on the stigma, or it will prevent the pollen tube growth in the style. That means if the pollen grain is germinating, then the pollen tube will not grow in the style. In both the cases, the pollen grain is not able to fertilize the ovule. Now the ability of pistil to recognize the right pollen, it is mediated by the chemical component which is present on the pollen grains and the pistil. And whenever these chemicals are interacting with each other, in that case the pistil is getting to know that the pollen is of right type or not. And it is a long chain, it is a long process. After the long process, the pistil is able to recognize the pollen grain. It is only the recent year that the botanists have been able to identify some of the pollen and pistil components and the interaction leading to the recognition followed by the acceptance or rejection. That means before that we didn't know about these type of components. So it is very recent that we know about these type of components that are used for the recognition of right pollen. Now after completion of pollen pistil interaction or the compatible pollination, what will happen? The pollen grain which is present on the stigma, it will start germinating, and after germination it will produce a pollen tube, and that pollen tube will be produced from one of the germ pore. We all know that the pollen grain having a germ pore from where the pollen tube is arising, and whatever the content is present in the pollen grain, it will transfer into the tube or the pollen tube. When the pollen tube is developed, it will grow through the tissues of the stigma and style and reach to the ovary. And if we recall, we know that the pollen in some of the species, the pollen grain is shaded in two-celled condition. That means a one vegetative cell and second is the generative cell. In such type of plant, what is happening? The generative cell, it will divide and it will forms two male gametes during the growth of the pollen tube in the stigma. That means whenever the pollen tube is growing, in that case what happens? The generative cell, it will divide into two and it will produce two male gametes, and these male gametes will be transferred. And if the pollen grain is shaded in three-celled condition, then in that case it is already carrying the two male gametes at the beginning. Now when the pollen tube is reaching to the ovary, in that case it will enter through the ovule by micropyle and enter one of the synergid through the filiform apparatus. We all know that in the egg apparatus it contains three cells. First is the egg and two are synergid. In this synergid, it also having the filiform apparatus. So many recent studies have shown that the filiform apparatus present in the micropylar part of the synergid, it is guiding the entry of the pollen tube. That means from where this pollen tube will enter in the micropyle, so it is guided by the filiform apparatus. Now all the events from the pollen is landed on the the stigma is accepting the pollen grain is germinating, it will produce the pollen tube, and the pollen tube will enter in the ovule. So all this process is included in the pollen pistil interaction, and it is a dynamic process. We all know that. Now just because we are gaining the knowledge in this area, so nowadays we are manipulating the pollen pistil interaction. That means we are able to transfer the incompatible pollen on the stigma, and this stigma is now accepting the incompatible pollen grains also, and by this we are able to get the desired hybrids by this method. Now if we want to study the pollen germination, it is very easy. We have to dust some of the pollen from the flower such as the pea, chickenpox or balsam or vinci on the glass slide, and we have to add a drop of a sugar solution, and that sugar solution will be about 10%. And after 15 to 30 minutes we are observing it under the low power microscope, then we can see the pollen grain is germinating and it is producing the pollen tube. So by this method we can easily study the pollen germination. Nowadays the plant breeders are interested to crossing different species and often the genera to combine the desirable character to produce the commercially superior varieties. Means nowadays what plant breeders are doing, they are combining the characters which are in different species and often in the different genera in the same plant to produce a commercially superior variety. That means this variety is commercially superior and it is producing more production as compared to the previous one. Now for this we are using the artificial hybridization, and in this experiment it is important that only the desired pollen is landed on the stigma. That means pollination should be done by the desired pollen grain, and stigma is also protected from the contamination, that means from the unwanted pollen grain. So by using these two techniques we are doing the artificial hybridization, and for this we are doing the emasculation and bagging technique. Now what are they? So if any flower is there, it also contains the anther, and if this anther is there, they can easily landed or it can easily shed their pollen grain that will be landed on the stigma. So for preventing this, what we are doing, we are removing all the anthers from the flower from the forceps. So by using the forceps, what we are doing, we are removing all the anthers which are present on the flower, and this technique is known as the emasculation. That means whatever the unwanted anthers are there, these anthers will be removed just to prevent the self pollination. So this process is known as the emasculation. And when we are protecting the stigma from unwanted pollen grain, so how we are doing, we are covering the stigma by using the bag, and this bag may be made up of either paper or polythene. So when we are covering the flower by using the bag, then this technique is known as the bagging. Now by using the bagging technique, what is happen, the pistil is not able to get the pollen grain which are undesirable, and that is why the technique artificial hybridization is easily proceed. Now if the female parent is producing the unisexual flower, that means the flower that containing only the female part, in that case there is no need of emasculation, because emasculation is done only when the flower containing both male and female part to prevent the self pollination. But if the flower is unisexual, it contain only the female part, in that case there is no need of emasculation. And whenever the stigma becomes receptive, in that case the pollination is carried out for using the desired pollen and the flower is again rebagged. So at previous when we was bagging, we was using the bagging technique. So what we are doing, we are covering the stigma or we are covering the flower by using the bag. So whenever the stigma is receptive, in that case we are doing the pollination by desirable pollen, and after that we are again rebagging the flower. So by this method we are doing the artificial hybridization.